Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and welcome to our ultimate user guide on the all-new redesigned 2025 GMC Canyon, and this is the Denali trim level. Today, I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started.
Today, we're working with our friends at Snell Motors in beautiful Mankato, Minnesota.
Okay, so we're going to start with the driver's screen. Now, this is an 11-inch all-digital screen, and basically, there are 6 to 7 views that you can go through to change the look. You can adjust the audio from there. You can change where it says trip 1 and trip 2. That particular square you can change, but only from the infotainment screen. So let me take you through the views that you have. And to do that, we're going to use this little double box button on the bottom on the bottom side of the right side of the steering wheel here where the controls are. So I'm going to press it once. Okay, in this view, the trip meter moves to the middle, and then you've got, of course, a digital speedometer gauge, and then a more analog-looking one. You've got an RPM on the right, along with a gear selector. But what's really changed is now on the left, you've got a fuel gauge and a transmission temp gauge, and then on the right, you have got an oil pressure and an engine temp gauge. That's what's really changed there. Now, if I press it again, you get this beautiful full screen map view with just down in the left corner, you've got your basic driving information along with your fuel gauge, transfer case, miles to empty. It's real basic. You do have your engine temp and then your odometer, a compass on the top left, and an outdoor temperature reading on the top right. But what a beautiful view that is. All right, I'm going to press it again. Now here we get an off-road page. And so on the left, you've got a compass, you've got your fuel gauge, you've got your transmission temp. On the far right, you've got your pitch and roll, as well as your engine temp and oil pressure. And then you have got in the middle, you've got your steering angle and where your transfer case is at, in addition to your digital speedometer on the top. I'm going to press this again. All right, now we have the same picture we had a while ago with the trip view in the middle, but now we've got driver assistance in the middle. So everything else is the same there, but now you get your lane keeping assist, your dynamic radar cruise control, all that stuff shows up in this screen. And I'm going to press it one more. You get a calm screen if you just want to get rid of all the basic, all the information except for the very basics. This is the screen you want. I'm going to press it again. Okay, and we are back to the beginning. Now, the other thing that you can change from the steering wheel is the audio. So if I press the musical note button right here, I can go to my sources, and then I can use this button here to toggle through, and whenever I get to something I want, I just press on that button, and there I go. To switch between favorites that you've made, you have two ways. One, I can just move this button up and down. So right now I just got 3 in there. Or on the back side, on the left side of the steering wheel, okay, you can also use that to go through. Now, on the right side of the steering wheel, behind it, you do have volume controls. So you can adjust the volume right from there. Now, that is it from the steering wheel, and I told you that you can adjust this trip 1 and trip 2 window, but you do that from the infotainment screen. So I am going to move over to the infotainment screen and show you how to do that. In the infotainment screen, you're going to want to click on the vehicle status button, and then what you're going to get is you're going to get an overview, okay, with plus buttons that you can click on, and it'll just give you the information there, and it'll give you a little arrow. Okay, so if I click on that arrow, I can add that to driver display, and you notice now that the trip window changed to oil life. Okay, and then you could also reset it from there. So I'm going to X out of that. You've got tires and brakes, so you can take any one of these and do the same thing. Click on the arrow, add to driver display. Okay, I'm going to show you one more. We're going to go to fluids and filter, and we'll go to, say, oil life. Add to driver display. Okay, and then I can also click remove from display if I want. and it will go back to trip 1 and trip 2 by default. And then I'm gonna go over to engine. Now in engine, you're gonna notice that we have 3 little dashes under here, which means you have battery voltage that you can send to the screen, or coolant, transmission fluid temperature, oil pressure, and then oil temperature. Okay, so any one of those you can take and move. And then, of course, the last one is trip, which we have already seen, but you can do current trip, and that's a little bit of a different display. And since we have 2 dashes down here, we can go over and we can add fuel economy. Now, since I've changed it to tire pressure, when I flip through the screens, you notice now it says, instead of saying trip 1, trip 2, it says tire pressure. It is only those 2 screens where this tire pressure, these gauges will show up. The other screens, they don't. Okay, well, that is it for the driver's information screen. Next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. Moving over to the infotainment screen, this has an 11.3-inch screen. It has a premium Bose sound system. It's a 7-speaker system. Sounds really good. And it has AM, FM, HD radio, Sirius XM 360L, of course, wireless, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Bluetooth, wireless charging. It has parking assistance, dual zone climate control, ventilated seats, and it is a Google built-in system. The way the screen is laid out, this is the home view right here, and you've got 2 dashes. That means you got 2 screens worth of apps. And you can rearrange these. So if you simply just take and click and hold, and then I can move this up, and there I go. And if I want to change pages, I just click and drag it, and then you get it between something. So if you get it in a not right position, it'll just go back to the edge of the other screen. The buttons on the left are always here, okay? And up here, you have controls and safety, so it's a quick control to it. This does have a very nice 6.3-inch HUD display, and I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, this is, of course, your phone. This is your Google Maps. Hey, very, very nice display. You've got your media here, and then you can have a split screen. Right? And then, of course, you have your home button. So, I already showed you how to rearrange the apps. Let me show you the split screen. Okay, in order to change these, what you're going to do is click on the little pencil that's in the corner, and then these are your choices for the screen. So, let's say you want trip in there, and you just hit save, and now the trip information's there. Over here, all right, so over here, you have one different thing, is you have, you've got navigation here. So I can hit save there. Okay, this one, you have the Google Assistant there. Otherwise, they're the same. Okay, so that's how you can change your split windows, okay? There doesn't seem to be the ability to do multiple split windows where you can just kind of swipe through, but it's nice to have that feature. All right, moving up the list, we've got media here. The basic questions we get is how do I change channels? How do I adjust the sound? And how do I create a favorite? And how do I manage my favorites? All right, so tuning is very easy. In Sirius XM here, you're going to have these buttons right here, scrolling through here, and you can just click on it, and there you go. Now, if you want to click there. Now you can look through categories. Here's music, sports, news, and so on. Okay, and then you can just say, well, I want sports, so I'm going to go to the NFL, and then here are the places that you can go. So that's how you're going to tune, right? How do you make a favorite? Well, let's go to one of our favorites here, and I'm just going to go to the next channel, and I want to make this a favorite. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click and hold right here, and now I've got my favorites, right? So you see this little arrow here. If I go here, I've got a bunch more. Okay, so that's how you're going to create a favorite. So to manage your favorites, you're going to go up here to the musical icon, plus it's got a gear wheel. Go to manage radio favorites. And okay, you can't change the number of favorites that you have, but you can say delete them. And then if you want to rearrange the order, you can click here and change the order. Okay? Now, on the same token, same button, if you want to adjust sound, you're going to go here. Okay, and you've got your equalizer, and this is a click drag, and you can use the arrows if you want. This button just puts everything back in the middle. And you've got mid-range, you've got treble here if you want. And then you got fade and bounce, which again is just a click and drag. Okay, and then you can recenter everything with that button. So that's how you're going to tune. That's how you're going to make a favorite. That's how you're going to manage your favorites. And that is how you're going to adjust sound. So I'm going to show you real quick. These are the sources. Okay, it's going to be the same for FM. The only difference is you're going to get this little button, and now you can actually type in a number, or you can just go through here and click on one. You want to make it a favorite, you can just click the star. Okay, AM is going to look exactly the same as FM. And then, of course, you have Bluetooth, you got Google News, USB inputs, you've got Amazon Alexa, you got podcasts. All those you can access through there. So that's the radio in the media. Let's go up to Google Maps. Now, this is a really nice map. Oh, wow. So it does pinch and zoom. Oh, yeah, you can rotate it. Okay, colors are great. Oh, my gosh. All right. So to search for something, you can click in here and you can, let's say, go to there. Just click in the box and then you can type. But honestly, the easiest way to do this is through the voice command. So if I just say, hey, Google, find me the closest Dairy Queen.
There's a Dairy Queen restaurant 0.1 miles away. Navigate to that one.
And I'm just going to press that one. I press start. Gives you the phone number. I'm just going to hit continue anyways, just to show you the route. On your driver screen, you're going to notice now you got turn-by-turn directions over on the right. And if I go to that beautiful map view here, here's what it looks like with the route plotted. So that is just really cool. All right. Now, you can also just cancel the navigation by clicking the X or by saying, hey, Google, cancel navigation.
Stopping navigation.
All right. So I want to point out the difference between the first time I said, hey, Google, and the second time. And the first time, cancel. The first time I did it, I said the word, the phrase, and then I waited, and then I said it. But in these new systems, you don't need to pause. So you can just speak the entire phrase as one sentence like this. Hey, Google, find the closest McDonald's.
There's a McDonald's 0.1 miles away.
Take me to number 3. And there you go. So it can just be one sentence. There are more things that you can do with the voice command, but I'm not signed into it, but you can, tell it to play radio stations, that kind of stuff. So really, really neat. Now, let's just talk about some of the buttons that are up here. First of all, you can change your view. This button will automatically mute the navigation voice. But if you want to have just some alerts, some beeps to tell you when you're going to turn, you can do that too, or you can turn them all on. All right. Now, under this gear wheel here is someplace you would want to go when you first get the vehicle, spend a couple minutes in your driveway and make these settings, and then it's kind of a one-time deal. Do you want traffic on or not? Guidance audio always unmuted unless you manually change it. Route options. Do you want to avoid highways, toll roads, ferries? Just simply click the box, and the next time, or from there on out, when you program a route, it will avoid that. Okay, let's see. And then once you sign in, you would have access to offline maps. All right. So some basic settings there. The plus and the minus just will zoom in on the screen if you want. This one will give you route options. Okay. So it gives you a little different way and brings that up. This allows you to search for more things. And then this just brings up the where you're going, gives you the information for it, phone number, that kind of stuff. All right, so that is navigation. All right, we're going to go up here to phone. I'm going to hook up my Android phone to Android Auto. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on my phone, I'm going to go to settings. Then I'm going to click on connections. Then I'm going to click on Bluetooth. And I'm going to go over here to manage phones. And since there's nothing added, I'm going to click add a phone. All right, so now I'm going to look, and I'm looking for GMC 6170. And it should be at the bottom. Sure it is. So I'm going to click on it. It says it's pairing. Okay, now I want to see if that number is the same on my screen. It is, and the reason you want to check that is if someone else happens to be in the car with you, and it might attach to their phone. So just double check. Okay, so we had to wait a minute. And then it's connected for Bluetooth calling and media, and I'm going to go to options. Oh, just took a minute. All right, this is an important screen. This is where if I don't click enable, it's going to just stay on Bluetooth and not go to Android Auto, and I want that. Then on your phone, it's going to ask you a bunch more questions like, do you want to allow access to contacts? Of course you do. Do you want to allow access to messages? Yep. If you want to get the full benefits out of it. And of course, if you don't, you just click deny. All right, so I'm just going to wait a minute here. And on my phone, it says welcome to Android Auto, so I'm going to hit continue. And it should show up here fairly soon. And there we go. Okay, so my Google Maps is not going to show up, but it will on your phone here. So that'll be Google Maps. This is YouTube Music. And then you notice I have 2 dots. So if I swipe over here, I should get another screen. I do. And these are just suggestions for you. The other view you have, this is your split screen. So if I go to the dice, okay, you are now going to see all of the apps on my phone that I have. And there you go. So I don't have a lot on this particular phone. I have a lot more on my iPhone, but you get the idea. Right now, the biggest difference between Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as far as I know, is going to be in Google here in Android Auto. Just if you have more apps than what shows up here, you're going to swipe up and down to see the different apps. In Apple CarPlay, you're going to swipe left and right. But you know, you can have any kind of navigation. You can have any kind of audio book. You can have any kind of music source. All of that will work just fine. And then you can shut your phone off and put it in the wireless charger they got down here. And there you go. These are your most recently used apps. And of course, the microphone is your Google Assistant on your phone. You will follow the same steps to do Apple CarPlay. It's just that you'll go to, at the beginning, you'll go to settings and then Bluetooth. Scroll to the bottom to look for the name of the vehicle that it gives you. And that's it. I'm just going to click on here for 1 minute because I want to see if the screen, it's a full screen view. So when the maps, which mine are not on right now, but that would be a full screen on your car. Okay, awesome. So you notice that Android Auto has now been the symbol here instead of the phone symbol. Now, you want to make phone calls? Well, you can just go to your phone and you can then make calls. Okay, the other thing you do is you can use your voice command to make calls. So it's really, really handy. Moving on, we go up here to the car symbol, and these are some basic controls that you have just at a quick click. So for the HUD, if I click on that, the HUD is a nice 6.3-inch screen, or view. It's not really a screen, but it looks like it's hanging off the end of your hood. You can adjust the brightness here, and this is not a click drag, but you can do the plus minus. Okay, you can do the height. And so you want to adjust it to your height, and then you can rotate it a little bit left or right so it looks right to you. Okay, so that is where you're going to control all that. Okay, I'm going to go back. Power window lockout, just a quick click, 'cause that's not on your door anymore. Cameras. Oh boy, this has got some awesome cameras. All right, there's a possibility of up to 10 different cameras if you have all the options and the trailer's hooked up and that's got cameras. But here we go. So I got a front view and I got a rear view. Got the 360 at the same time. Okay. I can look at the front of the vehicle. I can look at the very back. I can look on the left side. So that's my front tire. That's my right tire. And then I can look at the back. That's my back left and my back right. All right. And then you've got this 360 view, which you can turn off. And then you get a full screen, which is really nice. We don't always see that. And then if I go back to this 360 view, okay, and I got this one up here, and I go up to the back one. Now I should be able to get some guidelines. Oh, I need to be in reverse. That's the problem. There we go. Now it lights up. So you do have some swiveling dynamic guidelines, okay? And then if I want to look in the back, if I want to look back, then I get like a hitch view and a line to line up with the ball on my hitch. So really, really phenomenal. Now I'm just going to click here a minute. I can actually have another straight down close-up hitch view. So when the hitch is sticking out, and that is a super nice view. Use that all the time in my truck, and I absolutely love it. Okay, just click that arrow again, and we're back to these ones. Now, if I'm in drive, okay, I can get that front camera. Okay, in fact, when you're driving, you can just quickly click on that camera and get a nice front view when you're pulling in. And in that case, you might want the 360 off, but that's up to you. All right, go back here. I'm gonna put this in park. All right, auto high beams. That means they're turned on. Okay, and then front fog lights are on. And then park assist, which is your sensors, front and rear bumpers. Okay, you want those on or off. Sometimes you're trailering, you don't want to. Now you want to see more controls, you can click here, and then you can go under doors and windows, and power window lockout on or off. Okay, just brings you to another screen there. Lights. All right, you can go here to select your headlamps, your cargo lights, and that kind of stuff, but they put a button right at the top here that gives you all the basic stuff for your headlights. So that's where you go for that. But you can go through it in here. If you click on there, you can basically just check mark a box that says turn headlights on reminder. Okay, cargo lights, main cargo light, choose which areas around the vehicle you'd like to light. Auto high beams on or off, and then fog lamps on or off. Okay, and then I can go here, and okay, basically it's just going to give you a description. So that's where that is. Drive and park, traction control on or off. Okay, so that is all the controls right there. Okay, and that was found under the vehicle button. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the home screen. Okay, and there are a couple of other buttons I want to go through. First of all, because this is Google built in, you do have the Play Store. So if you're signed in, then you could go there and it will show you any apps that are compatible with the vehicle. And you could download them if you want and have them directly on your screen. Okay, again, you have direct access to that camera button. It has a great trailering package here where you can add a new trailer and it goes through and you can name it and everything. So if you have multiple trailers, you can have a setup for each one of them. Okay, and it's really nice. And the cool thing about it is that once you get it all set up, the blind zone monitoring, if you're pulling a trailer, actually goes around the trailer as well. But you're going to want to add a new trailer so it knows what length it is. Okay, Let's go back to the home screen here in a minute. All right, we'll come back to the other settings where we've done Android Auto. Apple CarPlay would be right there if we set that up. You do have an on-screen climate area that you can adjust. However, almost everything is down here. So, simple on or off. Okay, you got your 3-stage heated seats, both driver and passenger. And you got your 3-stage ventilated seats as well. Now, one of the things that's really kind of cool about the ventilated seats is that not only do they ventilate the bottom of the seat, but they ventilate the back of it as well, which is really nice. Especially when you got a sweaty back, it feels really good. Okay, now you've got the airflow direction. And then down here, you got fan speed, you've got a recirculatory, you got the AC, you got the sync button right there. Rear defrost, max defrost, and auto. And then, of course, you can just slide this to adjust, okay, the temperatures for both sides. It is a dual zone auto climate control system. So really, this is only if you need it. There is no button in here. That isn't down here physically, and I absolutely love that they've done that. All right, gonna hit the home screen. It does have a, I believe it's a 5G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot that you can use if you want to pay the monthly subscription fee. Of course, you get a trial period for a while where that's free. All right, now off-road. Oh, yes. Now, this is really, really cool. So we got a couple different settings up here, Baja, terrain, and overlanding. So on Baja, you're going to get the G-force meter that keeps max scores for you. You've got steering angle. You've got wheel slip indication. And then transfer case status. And then, of course, because you're driving, off-road, maybe you want some of your cameras, so they give you a quick access to that. And in addition to that, it tells you what your drive mode is, what your latitude and longitude is here, your direction, and what elevation you're at. So let's go to terrain. Now on terrain, you've got 3D pitch and roll. Keeps the max scores, and then tire pressure monitoring. Now you notice this little box right here. If I click that, you can reset the extreme values. Anytime you see that, it's a reset button. All right, and then if I go to overlanding, you get a compass with GPS and guidance right here, and then your altimeter. And then over here, you can reset the extreme values if you want. So really, really cool off-road pages that they have. All right, we've been to audio. There is Amazon Alexa. Of course, you have to sign in to do that, which I haven't done. But works right from your car, just like it does from home. Pretty cool. All right, under phone, if I go to gear settings, this is where you can manage your phones. Okay, so right now it's just my phone, but if there was a second phone connected, you could decide which one was receiving, which one was connecting to Android Auto, which one was that kind of stuff. You could set that. Active call view, privacy only show call alerts in the cluster if you don't want someone else seeing them. And then the contact order. All right, so let's go back. All right, we've already looked at controls. So it's just another way to get to it. You have the My GMC app right here, which you can also download on your phone. And then there's a bunch of things you can do: unlock, turn off the alarm, turn on the alarm, start the car. But this vehicle does have a built-in remote start on the key fob. All right, well, and if you like to off-road, and you're going to like this one, this is the air down mode. So you set the PSI you want, you hit start, and the horn honks when it's there, which is just awesome. All right, let's go back to home. Podcast, you got news, and that's the end of the screen. So I'm going to go back here because I want to go into settings a little bit. And so, again, you can view connections here. You can turn off, I don't know when a family used Apple CarPlay, just turn it off. It gets rid of the app. You can look at Wi-Fi networks, Wi-Fi hotspot, vehicle to phone sharing, which is a trusted device so that it works with everything. Okay. Under vehicle, we did audio settings already. You saw that. You can use Teen Driver, which allows you to geofence the car. You get reports if they leave the area. You can force all safety systems to be on. You can force the volume of the audio system to be limited. That kind of stuff, right? Just takes a while in your driveway. Just follow the step-by-steps on the screen. Buckle to drive, okay? If you click that on and you're not buckled, you can't move the car. You can put it in drive, you can put it in reverse, you can put it wherever you want, but it's not moving until you buckle. Leave that off and you can't. Climate and air quality, okay? Auto fan speed. So we have the auto function on the climate system. Do you want the fan low, medium, or high? Okay? Cool and ventilated seats on startup. Heated seats on startup. Auto defog, auto rear defog. Here we'd want that on. And that way when you remote start the car, all that just turns on automatically if it's needed. It senses what the outside temperature is and it knows. They're very intelligent in that terms of that. Collision and detection systems. Wow, this has got a lot. So I'm just going to go through them quickly. I'll show you a couple of them that you can change and how you do it. So you got automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, the adaptive cruise notifier, lane change alert, park assist, rear cross traffic braking, rear pedestrian alert, just a lot. Now, how do you change these? Well, first of all, if I do this one, I can alert and brake. So if it detects an oncoming impending accident, it's going to not only warn you, but it's also going to brake the car for you. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to avoid the accident, but it's going to be a lot less damage. But it's going to brake. If you turn it to alert only, all it'll do is going to beep it at you and let you crash right into it. Or you can turn the whole thing off. I'd suggest leaving that one right where it's at. Same thing with this. So you can see how to make the settings. I'm not going to go through all of them. These ones, you can do just a click on or off. But if you click on the word, you can get a definition. Okay. All right. So that's how you do it. Really cool. Lots of safety systems on here. Okay. Comfort and convenience. If you want the reverse, if you want the mirror to tilt on reverse, you can click that off or on. I just click it. Okay, I can say on for driver and passenger mirrors, on just for driver mirror, on for passenger mirror. Okay, lighting. When you hit the button on the remote, do you want the lights to kind of flash at you? Well, then leave that on. If you don't want it, then turn that off. Exit lighting. You get out of the car, you need a couple extra seconds to get to the door, you want some light. You can have up to 120 seconds or completely off. All right, remote, power door locks. So on auto door unlock, this is for when you shift into park. When you shift into park, do you want all the doors to automatically unlock, just the driver's door, or none of them, you'll do it manually? So this one is kind of nice. If you do the delayed door lock, what it's going to do is, let's say you've got a bunch of doors open because people are getting in and out, but you want the car to lock, but you don't want to wait for, somebody in the back that takes 5 minutes to get out of the car because they're still on their phone. Just hit the lock button, close your door. When all the doors are finally closed on the vehicle, it will lock. Okay. Let's see. Remote lock, unlock, and start. A lot of things under here, and I won't go through all of them, but you can read the list. And basically, a lot of them are just an on or off. Okay. Let's say remote start, auto-cooled ventilated seats, on or off. But if I click on it, I get a little definition, right? Sometimes you get a few more options, but usually it's just a definition. Okay. Lots of things to do. Key left in vehicle reminder. Key removed from vehicle alert. Some of those are really nice to have there. All right. So that's where we're going to access that. Seating position, of course, this has a 2-person memory setting in the driver's door. But in addition to that, you can turn these on. And then when you start the car, it's going to pull it back into your position that you'd set. And then when you shut the car off and open the door, the seat's going to go all the way down and all the way back to make it easy for you to get out of the vehicle. If you don't like that, you can turn those off. Okay, let me go back here. Of course, you got date and time here, but if you just click on the clock, it'll take you right to it. All right. Let's see. Accessibility. You can have captions turned on or off. And then the assistant and voice, they can use text from the screen if you want them to assist you, or it can access an image of the screen. All right. And then you have the digital assistant app. Okay, so the default is Google or none. Okay. And then last, here you get updates, over-the-air updates. Okay, and you look at the updates in history. Preferences, you can download updates in the background or download updates via Wi-Fi when available. And so the way a download works is it doesn't install. It just downloads while it can. And then later, it will ask you to run it. So, and then it will install. You don't want an update running while you're driving. Okay. Now, let's go back one more here. Yep. So that's basically it. Now, if you look on top of the screen, there's a little bell with a red dot. And that is just notifications. All right. So you see a red dot. That means you got a notification. I'm going to hit clear all. And there we go. Now, does this have driver profiles? Yep, it does. And I'm under guest right now. So how do you set that? Well, you go to profiles and accounts. Down below the climate system, you do have a button that has all 4 windows down at the same time. Weird thing is you can't go them all up at the same time. So if you push this button, it's only down, and then you have to put them back up from the actual controls on the doors. This is your auto start stop defeat button. This is your hazards. Then you have your lane keeping assist right there. And it's just a simple push down. And then to turn on the auxiliary power in the rear for the outlets, you can do there. That is it for the driver's information and the infotainment screen on the all-new redesigned 2025 GMC Canyon. And this, again, is the Denali trim level. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.